something happened that was kind of surprising. Not expect to see this. Dave Rubin is known for, what would we say, a docile interview style.
Obsequious.
Obsequious. And, of course, he's extremely far right. And no matter what his latest spin on what his politics are, he just follows the herd, basically.
The classical liberal term, that game is pretty much over.
Yeah, I think the game is over. And he's a follow the herd guy, and the herd he's hanging out with are extreme far-right people. I haven't even gotten to I think it's Brigitte Gabriel interview, which supposedly was a absolute train wreck with Dave Rubin. So I was really surprised to see this, and I don't want to overpromise any fireworks here. But Tucker Carlson was on with Dave Rubin, and you're going to see a little bit of a pushback from Dave. Or is it a pushback? Is it a pushback or a really, really funny mistake that we're going to integrate into our long-standing tradition of mocking Dave Rubin for being a profoundly stupid man?
Yeah. So what is Trump then? You've interviewed the guy a bunch of times.
I know him well.
Yeah. What actually, in the scheme of what your book is about and sort of where America's at the moment, is he just the great wrecker that we sort of needed so that this ship of fools wasn't going to sink and take everybody down?
Well, he's certainly a wrecker. Look, here's what Trump is not. Trump is not the guy who comes to Washington and transforms the system, because he's not capable of that. He's not interested in that. Washington is a very specific town, okay? So, like, the legislative process is highly complex.
Specific.
He doesn't understand it, doesn't seek to. He's not going to be the guy who runs on these 9 policies and then affects them once elected, gets them through the Congress, gets them through the agencies. He can't. That's not his role. It's very frustrating, actually, if you're from D.C. like me, to watch it. You're like, wow, what a second, get the energy department under control. Not going to happen. There's 3 million executive branch employees versus Trump, okay? Yeah. Trump's role is
that right? That's not right. There's 3 million?
3 million executive. I think there are 3 million executive branch employees. That may include the military, by the way. So it's not quite right. But I'm just saying, like...
All right, look, we're being super petty. But he did actually say it was a question mark. Like, he pushed back, like, no, it can't possibly be true. And you're right. It literally could not possibly be true that there are 3 billion employees of the United States federal government. That would be a literal impossibility, I guess, unless they started subcontracting people like in China.
Why do you think we owe China so much money?
Yeah.
We're hiring them.
Yeah, it's back paying all of our Chinese federal employees.
We're hiring Chinese people to the EPA by the 100,000.
I want to open up a new Department of Energy plant in Genoa, India.
This is why I think Tucker's like, this guy ultimately will never be able to be on my level. Cause
right.
Like, this is just too dumb.
Tucker's like, he's my new friend. And then he's just like, oh, man. All right, let's play this again, and then we'll explain why we're being so petty about it.
There's 3 million executive branch employees versus Trump, okay? Yeah. Trump's role is...
Is that right? That's not right. There's 3 million?
3 million executive... I think there's...
It's fun being uncharitable to libertarians.
Yeah, and you shouldn't ever be charitable to libertarians. But it's like, okay, so Dave Rubin is, of course, the guy who said that Jesus would be nice to Muslims and is the what did this post office ever do for you guy. Is just he's just a dim-witted cynic. And I remember Republicans years ago, they tried to make a huge amount of hay because Barack Obama misspoke one time when he was campaigning, and I think he said that he had been campaigning across like all 54 states. And I don't know, maybe he was being woke and he was trying to actually inject like Guam and Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands and Washington, D.C. should get statehood status. Or maybe he was just exhausted from campaigning and he misspoke. And this goes back actually, I think, to 2008. And the Republicans were always like, this is ridiculous. Like, Sarah Palin gets dinged for everything, and everybody ignores that Barack Obama doesn't even know how many states there are in the country. And it was like, well, the reason it didn't take off is because he's a smart guy, obviously, who misspoke once. Whereas Sarah Palin is saying literal, just nonsense every day because she's an idiot. And so we should be more charitable in general, including, I think, with way bigger things than misspeaking. I think we need to figure out a way to have a much more empathetic and compassionate society. And I mean that sincerely. And sometimes I even question my own role in not pointing to those qualities more. Now, that being said, Dave Rubin's a Dunsky. And somebody else might have gotten away with a misspeak, but he really is dumb enough and cynical enough to actually probably not be entirely sure that that's a wrong stat.
Look, we're just playing our role in the marketplace of ideas. We have to keep the other side honest, right? This is how this works. So,
Tucker Carlson, 3 billion? Man, I thought gay guys were supposed to be smart. It's true. You're absolutely right, though, because they got this little buddy thing going on, but there's just those moments where it's like, I mean, I really wonder, like, I don't know if he's had on like Steve Pinker, who I do not overvalue Steve Pinker's intellect. There's plenty of problems, major problems in his secular theology, which is really what his work is. But there are people who you just have to like acknowledge some just sort of like basic firing power they have. The idea of sitting down with Dave Rubin. It's like, so what was Racine's thing? It was just like, you were interested in science.
Tuesday night, Racine happened upon Dave Rubin impression where you make him sort of like a South Park
kind of a South Park character,
and it really does work well.
So you're not opposed to you don't support racism, but you're interested in ideas. It totally works. He could be mouthing like some type of like the sock like. Or some like inanimate object, and just pops in to say sort of like bigoted nonsense coated in stupidity.